Hello. I've not done a podcast for a couple of years, and people keep asking me the same question, and I don't know why I didn't do a show about it back in lockdown, but I'm going to take the opportunity to do a fin breakdown today. The component parts of a fin, why they're designed the way they are, and what makes a good fin. So let's start at the beginning, the basics. This is a Cressi Gara 2000. Now, I met with the owner of Cressi a few years ago, and he agreed this is the best entry-level fin they've ever made. What makes it so good? And they made it in I think they made it in the 80s. So it's like 40-year-old design. So what makes it so good? The reason it makes it so good is they managed to perfect 3 plastic molding in one molding. So you've got the stripe of hard plastic or hard rubber here, okay, which is where the power transfers from the foot to the fin. Then you've got the soft grey rubber either side of that makes the foot pocket comfortable, and then the blade itself, which is obviously what makes the fin work. And I say Cressi managed to perfect the 3 plastic molding, which is quite expensive, but they did it 40 years ago, so they still produce the 2000s. He told me they'd never stopped producing them. Unfortunately, they stopped making the LDs, the long distance, the softer versions. They stopped making them a few years ago, but they're still available, and sometimes you can get them in sale quite cheap. The most important part of a fin is the foot pocket. If the foot pocket isn't comfortable, you're not going to enjoy wearing it, and you're not going to want to wear it. So the Cressi foot pockets tend to be quite long and thin. So although I'm telling you this is, if not the best, one of the best entry-level plastic fins you can get, if the foot pocket doesn't fit your foot, it's no good. And of course, the plastic blade is quite good. It's very good compared to other plastic blades, but it's still not particularly reactive. So when you let go, it kind of, if I bend it for a couple of seconds, you can already see there's a curve on it. And this means it's not particularly reactive. Now, if you move on to like a fiberglass blade, okay, it pings back quite well. It's quite reactive, and there's the same with the carbon fiber fins, but we'll talk more about that later. So that's the 3 parts of the fin that we're kind of looking at. To save money, 20 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 20 years ago, fin companies saved money by not having the 3 types of plastic in one molding. So here's a Cressi Gara modular, and still the same two part here, so soft comfort around the foot, and the harder plastic here or rubber for transfer of power. But then the blade itself, you can take it out, and they call it modular, so you can, because it shows you can take the blade out. Now, they did this to save money on moldings, so you didn't have to have the technology for the 3 plastic molding, but they soon realized that they could tell people that you can replace the blade, so you can put a different blade in later, and people kind of ran with that. And nowadays most fins are replaceable blades, and to good effect. It does work that you can change the blades. So this is a Gara modular compared to the Gara 2000. Okay, so you can see the difference there. So moving on, as I say, the most important thing of a fin is the foot pocket. And you can see here, this is a Pathos foot pocket, and you can see the shape is really quite different from the original Garas. Okay, so you've got to find a foot pocket that fits. See that the lower one is quite long and thin, whereas this is quite triangular. So you've got to try a lot of fin pockets on, see what foot pockets fit your feet and are comfortable. Also, you mostly diving in cold water where you're going to want to wear socks. You've got to get a foot pocket that works with socks, or if you're mostly diving in warm water, you don't want to wear socks, you can get a foot pocket that works without socks. Also be aware, and I'll just throw this in for a bit of a bonus, if the foot pocket rubs, if the fin rubs and you're getting blisters, you can wear a cotton sock, a normal everyday cotton sock to stop the rubbing. You don't have to wear neoprene socks. Obviously, if the foot pocket's too big, then you need the extra size of the neoprene socks to make it fit. Okay, so that's pretty much the foot pockets. The next part we're going to talk about is the blade. So I've already shown you the plastic, and here's a fiberglass. This is a classic, an old leader fin, which is a really nice blade, and it's made of fiberglass, and obviously it does that, and it's pretty good, pretty reactive. You can move on to a carbon fiber, and this is just a blade only. This is a brand new M-Technique blade. I think this is technologically the most advanced fin blade made by Marinos in Athens. You can see, if you look closely, if you catch the light, I'll try and catch the light there, you can see there's a spine down the center. So this isn't just a flat press he's used actually a 3D press, double-sided 3D press, and this allows it to be soft but a lot more reactive than without the spine. He also puts Kevlar strings in the arms here for various reasons. And this one is actually the Spirt, which has, I believe, 5 or is it 6 different types of carbon cloth used in it for the different parts, where you want a different mechanical advantages or properties, different mechanical properties at the tip here than you do at the end here. So he uses 6 different types of carbon fiber throughout it. But Marinos, who makes these, he's a carbon fiber specialist. He's not a fin maker particularly, and he's been making these since for 20 years. 2004, I think, the Spirt came out. Yeah, they're quite expensive. They're very artisan. He only makes 2 pairs a week, and that's all he can make. But that shows what a blade without a foot pocket looks like. You can see, yeah, carbon fiber. So let's have a look at a couple of other designs. Recently, I believe, I'm not sure whether this is true, but Marinos of the M-Technique was the first person to have this shape at the end. Okay, and other people have kind of copied the same sort of shape at the end, but you still find companies that are using alternative shapes at the end, and the reason they have a shape is for stability. Okay, so as it moves through the water, you want, in this case, more water's going to go at the edges, okay, keeping it stable as it moves through the water. The rails will help move the water down. They fall off the end here, and therefore, 2 times as much water going down the end, it's going to stop it kind of spinning. Whereas the M-Technique or the other design, common design, water is directed down the center, and that also stops it spinning or twisting. If you had just a straight edge, if you had a straight edge on the end, there'll be no differentiation where the water goes, and it'll be, as you fin through, you can feel them like kind of sliding this way as opposed to keeping it nice and locked in. That's the theory behind it, and I say various companies have different designs on the end. A note about carbon fiber and fiberglass: most of both of them are resin. So the way you make a carbon fiber blade or a fiberglass blade is you put a layer of resin, then you put in a sheet of material, whether it's carbon fiber or fiberglass, doesn't matter, and then you resin, and then fiberglass, and then resin, fiberglass, resin. So you build up layers as you go, as you build up the fin. And so realistically, most of the blade is resin. So there's not that much difference between a fiberglass and a carbon fiber blade. Now, obviously, people love carbon fiber, you pay a premium for it. But realistically, fiberglass is, in my opinion, 95% as good as a carbon fiber. Most people won't tell the difference, so you know, don't be put off if somebody, you know, if you're thinking about buying a fin and you find one that fits and it's beautiful and it works and it's fiberglass. Don't be put off by it particularly. I know quite a few people say, oh no, I want carbon fiber. It doesn't make that much difference. As we go through the blade, as I say, when we're talking about the construction, there will be maybe 2 or 3 layers here at the end of the carbon fiber or fiberglass material, and then it builds up and builds up and builds up. So the end is very flexible, and when we come to the end here, I can't remember how many Marinos puts in here. I think he said like 20 layers, but I can't remember, but there's a heck of a lot more here than here. So the fin bends, there's a lot more pressure at this end, or not pressure, a lot more force here, because this is holding the whole fin, whereas here it's only holding that much. So you should be able to bend it like this, and you should be able to get a nice, let me try and get out on the camera there, this is called a belly, okay, this shape over the top, it should be nicely rounded. Okay, now talking about the roundedness, as you can see on most fins, they have these rails. These are quite short rails, and these are quite long rails. So they're both the Pathos foot pocket. Okay, these are both Pathos foot pockets. You can see these have a long rail all the way down to here, and these rails have been cut here. Now this will affect the blade and how it works. Now, I haven't checked these, but let's have a look. So you'll tend to find with if you've got a short rail and the fin hasn't been designed specifically for a short rail, so this has got a long rail, so you've got a nice bend. It's quite a nice, can I get that on the camera? Yes, that's nice, a nice belly. Okay, there's no straight points, it curves over, so that's quite nice. And I say sometimes you'll find if they've got the short arm, if the blade hasn't been designed for the short, you can kind of get a little bit of a straight section. So you can see just to here, it's a little bit straight, and I can't get rid of it. Okay, so it's not a smooth belly. Okay. Not a big deal, but the whole point of me doing this this video is to show the differences. Okay, so you can see it doesn't make that much difference, but especially in this is quite a nice fin. They've mitigated it by having the rail kind of going right up to it a little bit, but you can see there's a little kind of straight section. It's not quite a smooth belly, not like this one, which is the same foot pocket, say Pathos, and you kind of see that there's not a straight section. The only other thing really that I want to cover is the angle. Okay, so what do you mean by angle? I mean the angle from, let's have a look. So the angle of the bottom of the foot pocket to the blade. So if we go back to just the blade itself, you can see it's literally made with an angle on it. Okay, and different foot pockets, different blades have different angles. So this is quite a small angle. You can see here it's quite a small change here, and then if we take this, you can see there's quite a big angle. We can hold them both up so you can see. So the question is, why have an angle at all? And the reason is very simple, that when you kick a football, which is a really when we're talking about humans, kicking a football is a very common mechanical process. Whether you're kicking a tree or a football or whatever, but we can visualize kicking a football much better. The power is put on the top of the foot here. Okay, that's where the power is going. Okay, so if you can point your feet like this, the shin should be pretty much in line with the top of the foot. Okay, but the bottom of the foot is not in line. So there needs to be an angle on the foot pocket, on the blade, on the fin to mitigate for that. So let's have a look at some of these. So this is where the power goes, okay? This is the bottom of the foot, and the angle change means, when you line that up like that, you can see that this is pretty much in line with the blade. Okay, and that's going to make an efficient power transfer from the foot pocket to the blade where you want to move the water. If we look at these fins, there's a massive angle change. So the foot pocket goes this way and the blade goes down. So this is not going to be a particularly efficient blade to fin with. And let's have a look at, oh my gosh. Extremely short. What I'm looking at now is extremely short arms here, and I can't bend that part of section. I can't. It's just straight. Yeah. That's beside the point. It's not beside the point if you're going to buy a pair of fins, but I'm not talking about that. I just thought I'd check it while I was there. We're talking about the angle. So this is a massive angle, and it's not particularly efficient for finning. If you imagine, if I'm using my hand to push water through, if I tilt my hand like that and pull my arm through the water, I'm not going to move much water. Okay, the hand is not in the right place. It wants to be here, where it's going to, you know, create a lot of drag, which is what you want, and then the fin tips will bend a little bit like this. But if it's already kinked out of place, it's just going to move from the water. It doesn't matter what this bit's doing, you're still not going to get that. So, question is, why do companies like this have a massive angle on it? And this, I've been told, is because when you're in the sink phase, you want the fins to glide vertically. And they're saying when you're relaxed at the ankle, okay, with a fin like this, if you let me try and put the foot pockets the same sort of angle, this is going to have more drag than this one. This is going to have more drag than this one, which is, on the surface, seems logical. But if you actually look at how somebody hits the glide, if they're relaxed, which they should be, the water will put them in the correct position. So if there is a little bit of drag and you're actually truly relaxed, the knees will bend, and it will be a subtle change. You won't notice, but you will fall straight. So having a big angle to hit the glide doesn't make any sense at all, because if you're in the glide, you're relaxed, and if you're relaxed, the knees will soften to wherever they are. The last thing I'm going to go through is what makes a good fin. Well, I'm telling you now, categorically, price does not make a good fin. I've seen a lot of fins that are really expensive, and I've got to watch my words here, and not very good. Okay? So price doesn't always give a good fin. But the most important thing when buying a pair of fins is that the foot pocket is comfortable. The most important part. Now, it might be tight, you might be a competitive diver, you might be so dedicated to constant buy fins that you need or want a fin that's super tight. Tight, yes. Uncomfortable, no. So if you look at the Molchanov fins, where they've basically taken half a monofin foot pocket and grafted it onto a blade, they are going to be super efficient in transfer of the energy from the foot to the fin, which is what you want. They're going to be tight. They're going to be you're not going to be wanting to wear them for a long time, and you're not going to want to go snorkeling on a reef for a few hours. They're just too tight, but they fit, or they should fit, really well and comfortable. So the most important thing when you're buying a pair of fins is foot pocket. If you can join a club, or go to a club, or find an instructor or a centre that has loads of different makes of fin, go try them out. If you're not in the UK, then there's lots of dive shows, especially in Europe, that tend to have stands that have a lot of fins to try on. Okay, in the UK, we don't have that many manufacturers who display at the shows with fins to try on. But so find a club, find a centre that's got some fins and try some foot pockets on. So the most important thing is that foot pocket is comfortable. Now you might say, but I want this blade and this foot pocket. Unfortunately, not all foot pockets fit all blades. You've got to be really careful how they marry together, how they fit together. Now, I personally have found a foot pocket which I think is the best foot pocket ever made, and this is a Seatec from Italy. What makes this fantastic? Well, number one, it fits my foot like a glove. For me, it fits. That's the shape of my foot. Okay, it fits like a glove. I can wear socks with it. I can not wear socks with it. So for me, I'm diving every day, all over the place. I'm diving in England next week. I'm out here in Greece this week. So being able to wear the same pair of fins with socks, no socks, is a bonus for me. But equally well, the rubber is super soft. The hard bit is quite hard, and they have a plastic insert underneath. Okay, as well as having a really extenuated curve on the heel. So when my foot is pointed, my heel is still cupped. Okay, so if you were to, not that I'm suggesting you do, but if you were to walk in them, they'll be quite uncomfortable. I'm not planning on walking them, but I plan on finning with my foot pointed, so this hugs the heel really well, and the plastic insert transfers all the power to the blade. Okay, I've got some modified M Technique blades. These are 6 years old, and I have beasted them. They're guaranteed for life. They're just like incredible, and I've grafted them onto these. So you can get Seatec happens to fit M Technique blades just by luck. So that's it. So that's what you're looking for: a good foot pocket, one that's comfortable, one that has a nice solid base on it, because that's going to create a nice transfer of power, and it should cup your heel really nicely to stop your heel popping out. That's going to be fit. And then obviously you pick your blades to suit your budget and the look you want. There's some lovely fins out there, or stickers, decals with lovely prints on them that look good in photos. They're yours, and you can really kind of enjoy having a nice pair of fins. You've got these, for example, these Pathos, nice blue foot pockets, and nice colour on the nice colours. Yeah, not bad. I'd say the angle's a little bit big, but Alex, whose these are, says the foot pockets fit. Then he's halfway there. Carbon blades, that's it. So having a little bit of extra angle, not a deal breaker there at all. So that's a nice pair of fins. That's it. That's what you're looking at. Let's have a look at these bad boys. The S-wing. That is a strong bit on there. Quite solid on the heel base. See, there's no cuppage here for the heel. So have a look if I can get mine back, so we can just compare the cuppage on the heel between the two. You see that my heel kind of goes up there, and this is pretty flat. Yeah, you can see the change in the angle there, but and that's it. So that's my breakdown of fins, what you're looking for and what makes a difference. There's a lot of people online that will say these fins are great, I've had them for 3 years, I use them, they're brilliant. That's fantastic. That's tells you that the fins are long lasting and but do they actually work for you? That's the question. So an objective quantifiable measurement of how good a fin is would require one person wearing 6 pairs of fins, as opposed to subjective review of them. I love them, they're fantastic. Okay, so when you go to buy your first pair of fins, you should buy a pair of plastic fins that work, that are comfortable, they'll see you right. When you move on to your second pair of fins, maybe look into a little bit more detail about what you're buying. So thank you very much, hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, you can put them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. Apart from that, enjoy freediving. See ya.